The term tik-easy is a funny one because with the boom of speakeasies, especially in the last 10 years, the craft cocktail world definitely leaned into that prohibition era style. Password hidden, no signage. When realistically, a lot of tiki bars kind of adapted that mentality, that those blocked off windows, that no sign, that to really feel like you're really transported into a different realm, to really put yourself into an immersive experience. So that kind of fell into a Venn diagram of like, oh, it's like a speakeasy. It's like, well, yes, but no. So it's more so like having people feel like they're jumping into a completely different area or space. Like you're not just on the curbside of downtown Anaheim. You're in the hull of a sunken ship, just really just enjoying some nice, refreshing, exotic beverages and food as well.
We join Mauro Hernandez from the Tiki-easy bar Strongwater in Anaheim as he introduces us to the Zombie King.
Yeah, so the Zombie King is a cocktail that is Strongwater's staple cocktail. We have a Zombie King found in the restaurant. We have a mini movie based off the Zombie King, so it has a little bit of lore to it. But like the name states, it is very reminiscent of the classic tiki cocktail, the zombie created by Don the Beachcomber. But this one leans a little bit more on the kind of deeper spice flavor profile, as it does have a lot of intricacies of darker rums, cinnamon syrups, black walnut bitters, Angostura bitters, as opposed to like the bright grapefruit absinthe traditional zombie flavor profile. So it's kind of a unique take. Realistically, the only thing it has in common with the traditional zombie is the amount of booze that goes into it.
Do you want to show us how it's done?
Absolutely. Start off with a nice little flash blending tin. And we are going to start with 2 dashes of black walnut bitters, 4 dashes of Angostura bitters. We do half an ounce of a 2-to-1 rich cinnamon cane syrup, 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, 1 ounce of fresh pineapple juice, half an ounce of a Demerara rum. We use Hamilton 86. 1 ounce of blackstrap rum, 1 ounce of pimento dram, and 1 ounce of coconut rum. So as you saw, there's a lot of deep, rich spirits going in there. That coconut rum is just going to be there to kind of brighten up and lighten up those flavors alongside the lime and pineapple as well. So we get a little flash blend here. Give a little taste and make sure it's right. Delicious. And we're going to serve it in our nice little Zombie King here. So we use a Hamilton flash blender as opposed to just shaking it normally, because all those ingredients are deep, rich, heavy. You want a little bit of aeration, you want that dilution, you want uh, pretty much that pebble ice to kind of lighten up, brighten up, elongate all of those flavor profiles. And we're gonna make them look super pretty here. And that is our Zombie King.
You've used 3 types of rum.
Right.
Why does Tiki tend to bring in so many different rum variations?
Well, it's the same idea as I was saying earlier. Having those bold flavors, you a lot of times, as someone who works in a bar team, we need help, and spirits need help sometimes. So finding that culmination, that blend of spirits that work really well together to stand up to these big, bold flavors, especially in tiki when you have like 8 or 9 ingredients, some deep, heavy syrup, some rich, bright fruit flavor profiles. You want to create a blend that is going to kind of withstand all those flavor profiles while still showcasing spirits in the cocktail itself. We're pretty rigid on what we put in our glass. We're pretty integritous of everything that goes in. It's hard to substitute one thing for the other in that for that same regard because these spirits that we're throwing into these blends really, really work together. So it's pretty important to use that same spirit every time.
Now, if people haven't heard of pimento dram before, do you want to talk us through what it is and what they might be able to use instead if they can't get hold of it?
So pimento dram is an allspice liqueur. We use Hamilton pimento dram, but it's not necessarily going to be a one-to-one substitute. But Saint Elizabeth is a much larger known allspice dram that might be a little bit more easy to source. But pimento jam has a kind of a lighter, sweeter kind of allspice drying flavor profile than Saint Elizabeth itself. But I feel like if someone were to substitute it, there would just have to be mild adjustments to the other ingredients thrown in there.
How would you describe the flavor of this drink?
The flavor of this drink definitely leans more towards like that deep baking spice flavor. Flavors like cinnamon, black walnut, that blackstrap rum adds a really nice kind of chicory and molassesy kind of flavor profile. But all that lime, pineapple juice, that coconut rum definitely lightens it up. So it has starts off with a really deep, complex baking spice flavor profile, but that lime and pineapple brightens it up. Really nice refreshing spiced cocktail with that kind of nutty finish at the tail end from that black walnut.
How would you say this drink fits in with the rest of your menu?
It fits in very nicely. It fits in almost perfectly with the idea that it is a big, bold, complex flavor just journey the entire time you're drinking it. Taking a name like the Zombie, which was a classic cocktail, and pretty much putting our own spin on it is just kind of a kind of groundwork for the rest of the menu to show that yes, these are all very familiar names, but we've broken down those cocktails, built them back up to make them stand out and unique to us while maintaining the integrity of that classic cocktail name.
Is the majority of the menu riffs on Tiki classics?
I would say probably about 50 to 60% are classics to originals. We have 40 plus cocktails on our menu, so
Right.
that there are a lot.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the bar.
Strongwater has been open for a little over 4 years, opening right at the end of 2019, which is a fun time to open a bar and restaurant. But with the world shutting down, the owners were here day in day out, making sure we're still kind of curating as much as we can, getting people cocktails to go, monthly menus, food to go, just to kind of keep that energy and spirit of Strongwater alive. So when we reopened, we kind of hit the ground running, building that clientele that was had during the shutdown.
Do you find that people are more inclined towards Tiki and that escapism since the end of the pandemic?
100%. I feel like people have been trying to find that escape, that feeling like you're somewhere else, especially for a lot of people. They were, shuttered in to their households for such a really long time. So that was the only space they knew, they got comfortable with. Their outdoors, even just like their front yard. So once the world started opening its doors and people started going out again, I feel like Tiki became a huge, huge part of that because it felt like people were traveling or going away, like going somewhere else, which is kind of how Don The Beachcomber kind of incepted his first idea was post-war. Uh, People couldn't really afford to travel or vacation, so it was such a big deal to go to a tropical, exotic bar with no windows, just no outside life that you felt like you were just in a space, just completely decompressed and removed from the worries of the outside world.
Now, I believe that people do actually travel from all over the country to come to your bar. So obviously, Disneyland's not the only attraction in Anaheim.
Right. Right, right. Yeah, we do get a lot of travelers. Same idea. We're super thankful for the Tiki community. They're a huge reason why we continue to thrive the way we do. And the second they walk in, they're already that bar is already set before they even take a cocktail. Just for the effort of the decor that was done in here, it's really becoming a destination for a lot of people. Has been kind of the highlight of our concept and our inception. While we do cater to a lot of locals and we have our regulars that come in that we're super thankful for. It's pretty fun to see that people do travel from all around the nation to really kind of make this a stop in their little West Coast tiki bar crawl.
We can see a little bit of the bar, but do you want to describe the overall feel of the bar to us?
Yeah, so the overall feel of the bar is pretty much that. It feels like you're really immersed into a sunken ship. While you're facing the bar right now, it's just kind of some, old shelving and headboards we've repurposed to make it feel really vintagey and make it feel really like a collection. It's kind of a T-shaped bar, so when you walk in, it's the hull of the ship is like over your head, and you really feel like you're just transporting into a completely different area. We have a nice little water feature in the corner of our bar, which is looks like Zombie King. It's our Zombie King grotto. And then we have a nice little back area called the captain's quarters that kind of extends a little bit, has a little bit more intimacy to the feel of the room, much more quiet, a designated bartender. So while we're not the biggest ship in the world, we're spoiled to have two separate rooms to feel like you're in two different areas of the ship.
And you were talking earlier about the Tiki community. How big and how devoted is that community in the US?
Much bigger and much more devoted than you would think. The Tiki community has delved into so many different facets of this subculture of cocktails and food and beverage. It's a massive, massive group of people that have been following the history, the rich history of Tiki, that have been following the modernization of Tiki and the future of Tiki. So there's a lot of really devoted, diehard groups of people. And what's not to like about Tiki? You feel like you're going away, you're having a great cocktail, and you're eating some food with your friends. So there's just a lot of that. There's conventions. That revolve around Tiki Oasis in Arizona and San Diego, Tiki Caliente, the Hukilau in Florida. I would say that it is a much bigger, more devoted community than most people would think